Victor and Sparky are the best of friends.
Sparky's a great dog.
The best dog a kid could have.
When Sparky is hit by a car, Victor cannot cope with his grief.
When you lose someone you love, they never really leave you. He'll always be in your heart.
I don't want him in my heart. I want him here with me.
Victor uses his scientific wizardry to bring Sparky back from the dead.
I can't believe it! You're alive!
In Frankenweenie.
Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're here to talk about Frankenweenie, the new stop-motion animated film from director Tim Burton. We've all just seen it. Mm-hmm. First off, what's the dog's name?
Sparky.
So why isn't it Frank and Sparky? Because that would sound like Frank and Sparky?
You just gotta make things complicated, don't you, Sean?
Frankenweenie's a weird name.
It's a valid question.
So, Frankenweenie is based off of a short film that Tim Burton did in the early 80s.
1984.
Yes, very early on in his career, and it was only about 30 minutes long, whereas this is an hour and a half.
What I really enjoy is that the original Frankenweenie caused Tim Burton to be fired by Disney, and who made this film, this remake of Frankenweenie? Disney! I love the irony. I love it.
I admire a lot of aspects of this film. I like Tim Burton, and I think that there are certain elements of Frankenweenie that people look at and say, oh, Frankenweenie's kind of like Tim Burton's going back to basics a little bit. I mean, there's certain elements that are more attuned to, I'd say, Beetlejuice or Edward Scissorhands, but I kind of felt like there wasn't enough material for a full feature.
The first 40 minutes or so, or 30 minutes or so, is great because we're set up and we're finding out about young Victor and his dog and all of his friends. But yeah, I mean, there was a point in the movie about an hour of the way in where I looked at my watch, and I don't ever look at my watch in an hour and a half movie, especially a kid's movie, because they're supposed to go, you know, they're supposed to move, and this one went, but it just didn't go fast enough.
I like when things are a little bit more simple because I think you could focus on characters, I think you could focus on vocal performances and visuals, and I think people often get wrapped up in subplots and plot holes, and this film has a very simple structure, and I enjoyed that about it. I think the simplicity was beautiful. It's interesting you said back to basics. That's exactly how I put it. I think Tim Burton has lost his way the past few years, and I think this is an exercise. He's returning back to what he used to be, and he's finding his way again. And I think this is a great exercise, and if it comes with being an entertaining story and an entertaining film, then more power to it.
It's missing some of the things I think it should have had. It has an emotional undercurrent to it, or at least it should have an emotional undercurrent. It's this boy and his dog story. A lot of people can relate to that. A lot of young boys have dogs that they're very attached to. If you lose your dog, that's sad. And I just felt like that should be much more emotional than it winds up being.
I thought it was really well set up, and I thought I felt for the dog. I felt for the relationship between the dog.
I'm sorry, boy.
I thought that the voice cast was pretty good. You have Catherine O'Hara and Martin Short actually play multiple characters in this movie. Catherine O'Hara plays one of my favorite characters in the entire movie, which is this little girl who has these gigantic eyes, who just happens to have a cat
who has
gigantic eyes.
Named Mr. Whiskers.
I thought that was a great touch.
She's like the girl from VHS.
Just like the girl from VHS.
She's just the prototypical, hello. Creepy eyes. Yes, she was great.
I also loved Mr. Rice Krusky.
Yes,
Mr. Sounds like Rice Krispies.
That was Martin Landau.
Played by Martin Landau, who's doing an ode to Vincent Price, which I thought was just fantastic. Everybody loves Vincent Price.
There's a lot of those things, you know, a lot of those references where you just see something from 50 plus years ago for half a second, and you're like, you know, like there's a Bride of Frankenstein moment with Sparky's dog girlfriend.
There's a Jurassic Park moment too, and there's the birds moment, which I thought was hilarious.
Birds moment was good.
It's very self-conscious.
Victor, I need your help.
I asked him first!
My problem bigger.
Yeah, he's right.
Some of these references just felt like references for references' sake.
Absolutely.
I didn't think that they really integrated themselves.
He's remaking his own film. The whole film by nature is postmodern. Of course there's going to be references. I mean, that doesn't bother me at all.
That's fine, but they don't weave themselves into the narrative that well, I don't think.
I think I'm just enthusiastic because I've been let down by Tim Burton time and time again the past 10 years.
But that doesn't mean you
I just want to embrace him.
Give him a pass.
I do. No, I think he's gotten like 1,500 free passes, but now I feel like, oh, he's back. He's coming back. Tim Burton's going to be
might be.
again.
I mean, the only thing that I really love about this movie is the aesthetic. I mean, there's one thing that the man knows how to do. It's unbelievably gorgeous. The fact that he made the choice to have it be black and white stop motion and 3D is really awesome because the 3D is kind of gimmicky for a few minutes, but it's mostly for depth. Like every time there's a close-up of someone important talking to Victor, it always comes in really slow, so by the end of it, they're outside of the screen looking down on you, and it works. It looks great and it's fun, but I wouldn't take my 3 kids to this movie and spend $15 a piece, so I'm gonna say stream it.
Frankenweenie has some admirable moments, but I just don't think there's enough to make it a must-see, so I have to say stream it.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was simple. I thought it was well told. I completely disagree with you guys. See it.
Looks like our votes add up to 2 tickets, which is a stream it for Frankenweenie.
Huzzah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
If I die, would you guys like try and reanimate my dead tissue?
Did you get that out of the litter box?
I think his best movie is Ed Wood, which was in the middle of his career.
And everyone hates that movie.